Say hello to Penny's Big Breakaway. When watching this game for the first time at one of Nintendo's direct showcases, I was instantly glued to my monitor by how vibrant and colorful the world is, how stylish and acrobatic the gameplay looks, and especially how charming Penny is as a mascot character. Kinda like another one of my favorite platformer mascots, Hat Girl from A Hat in Time. And it was no surprise to see that the people that worked on this game also worked on another incredible platformer, and arguably the best 2D Sonic game of all time, Sonic Mania. Evening Star Studios was formed in 2018, made up of developers from the Mania team like Christian Whitehead, the creative director, and they're back at it again, this time in 3D. But is there room for Penny in that list of best 3D platformer characters that we just mentioned? And does this game really shape up to be something special like Sonic Mania was in 2017? And most importantly, is it worth checking out in 2024 this year? Let's find out. Hey, what's good y'all? It's Wavvy, and welcome to WhateverWavy, where I upload whatever's wavy to me within the games industry. And man, Penny's Big Breakaway is one of the waviest games that's been released within the industry so far. I'm absolutely in love with this game. Penny's Big Breakaway is a game inspired by the early PS2, GameCube, and Dreamcast era of games, with a Sega Saturn twist to it. It's also inspired by games similar to Super Mario 3D World, the recent Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, and the PS1 OG Ape Escape, while also capturing the vibe and charm of, like I said, A Hat in Time. Now, here's the basic premise of the game. You play as Penny from Vanilla Town, an acrobatic performer who is on their way to an audition to perform at an upcoming gala with Emperor Eddie, ruler of the world Macaroon. Yep. It's food themed. Hi-Fi Rush did the food thing too, and so did Chowder. She finds this cosmic yo-yo that not only gives her an arsenal of traversal and combat moves, but also gets her into some pretty big trouble at the audition. What kind of trouble? Well, let's just say that the audition turns into more of an OnlyFans shoot for the Emperor. And now she has a gang of penguins hunting her ass down. Two protagonists pissing off a crazy emperor that unleashes an army of penguins onto them. Sounds pretty familiar, getting some hints of nostalgia there.
Well, I'm out of here. Goodbye, everyone.
Going back to Penny being a performer though, that's just the name of the game. This game is not only full of show-stopping and acrobatic moves that Penny can perform in-game, but it leans fully into its performing arts theme, with checkpoints being spotlights you can walk under, and at the end of each stage adding a bonus QuickTime event where pushing the right inputs results in Penny doing some tricky yo-yo moves while racking up some bonus points and stars. And speaking of tricky yo-yo moves like it's SSX Tricky or Tony Hawk, man, she has a ton of them in her arsenal. Now, this game is a momentum-based platformer. That means you don't just have your typical 3 collectibles in each stage. In this game, you also have 3 challenges you can complete by interacting with some of the NPCs that will ask for a few favors along your journey. And may I just say, one of this game's strong suits by far is NPC dialogue. It is hilarious. Whoever came up with the dialogue lines in this game for the NPC characters, they have to work in more games like this, honestly. Along with those 3 challenges to complete in each stage, you also have 3 collectibles called showpieces. You use them to unlock bonus stages in the game that are kind of like short obstacle courses. There's also a timer in each stage, which means speed is the name of the game, just like Sonic games, of course. And if we're talking what Sonic games this game reminds me of, definitely the adventure style games. So Adventure 1, 2, Sonic Heroes, not so much Sonic 06 though.
You have given me so many things. Now it is my time to return the favor.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
And again, if we're talking speed, man, the speedrunning community is having a blast with this game. Just check out some of these clips.
But first, I'll show you.
You're rewarded with not only how fast you complete each stage, but also how stylishly you complete it as well. The developers said they felt inspired by games like Devil May Cry and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater to add a combo counter in Penny's Big Breakaway too. The way you build this up is by not only knocking back penguins with your yo-yo, but also staying above ground and on your yo-yo throughout the level. This game high-key also gives me Chicken Little vibes from the PS2 or the GameCube if any of y'all played that growing up. Another 3D platformer with a fixed camera angle and a yo-yo you use for traversal and attacking. We may just have to cover that one day on this channel. Going through stages in Penny's Big Breakaway with this yo-yo, however, you swing on it, you ride on it, you spin on it. Pause. From jumping and dashing, to swinging and twirling, to bouncing, this game rewards you with being creative in just about any way you can, as long as you keep the momentum going, that is. Speaking of momentum, after we commit a hit and run on the Ice King himself, we then book it to Tideswell, a beach world where we run into Sheila, a sailor who coincidentally has beef with Penny because, yeah, she lost her opportunity to audition. Add her to the list of ops. After we have us a little Sharkeisha moment, Sheila realizes she doesn't want the smoke with us and gives us a ride to Zafara, a desert filled with cobalt covered in a nice blue aesthetic. Personally, one of my favorite looking areas of the game. And also where Penny and Yo-Yo meet Mr. Q, or who I like to call Squidward. After playing pool with his head for a bit, he tells us that the cosmic yo-yo that we found isn't actually ours to begin with. I mean, yeah, we found it in the back of an alleyway. Getting back to the stages again, man, they are absolutely gorgeous with such a unique art style and so much color with them. It's not just your typical fire, ice, and beach stages, but you also have a stage like World's Edge, a cosmic library with books that take you to another dimension, and also where we meet the taboo artist, the rightful owner of our toy companion. She was the director and partner to Eddie when they used to perform together, but then decided to leave the show business after Eddie let the fame and fortune get to his head. She lets us know that if we want to be free from our crimes, we have to rip a page out of the Book of Law, all the way over in Lawberry Courthouse. Not before running into Pangoville, a penguin enemy encampment. And yeah, we get imprisoned there. Ain't never seen any shit like this in no Mario game, have you now? And you can even get a better glimpse of how good this game looks just from the animated trailer they dropped. Yes, an animated trailer just like Sonic Mania did with their game. And you also just have to love the representation of Penny being a brown character too. But let's talk about Penny as a character for a little bit. Not only is Penny herself a very animated and expressive character with some of the moves she does, but you can even see them at the bottom left corner of the screen. All of her facial expressions and next to her health bar. Something that games haven't done since like the early 3D games, man. Such a throwback. And although Penny is mute throughout most of the game, kind of like some of my favorite characters in gaming. All of her movements have so much expression, swagger, and style as she moves through the stages that you can always get an idea of where her mind's at in the game. It's clear to me that Evening Star is really getting weird and unique with this game, and I just love when game developers do all of this, man. But once we confront Judge Rufus over in the courthouse, and after kicking his ass too, we're given the offer to turn in Yo-Yo to free all of our charges, since it wasn't really our fault that Emperor Eddie's nudes leaked. Of course, turning down the bribe because we ain't no snitch. We head over to the gala to confront Eddie ourselves. But one thing we start to notice as we make our way towards the gala is that the residents aren't really excited for the event at all, since the performance that last year was pretty awful from Eddie. And once we do get to the gala, Eddie has some microaggressions he wants to get off his chest to us. But after we roughing him up for a bit, he starts to realize the one thing that he's been missing in all of his life: pussy! He merges with Taboo and becomes Super Eddie. I don't know if that's actually the name of it. He just turns into a giant. But once we get his ass up out of there and the performance is saved, we're sentenced to community service. And credit roll. But once you beat the game, there's still some things left over to do, and you gotta love a game with good replay value. Not only can you go back and try to 100% each level, but there's also a set of challenges you can unlock, and a time attack mode to see how fast you can blaze through each stage. And I haven't even gotten into the soundtrack yet. I mean, no need to, since most of you guys are already listening to it throughout the video, and it absolutely slaps. You can tell the music is very Sega inspired, and you can easily hear some of these songs being played in Sonic Mania if it was in there, because it just fits the vibe so well. This game isn't all sunshine and rainbows, though it does have a few issues, of course. For starters, it has a fixed camera angle, so you can't really move around the stages that much. And for a game that's as colorful and filled with secrets as this one, it would have been nice. But you gotta understand the vision that they had for this gameplay. They were trying something new, so it is what it is. The game controls smoothly overall, but when you ride the yo-yo throughout stages, it is really hard to control. No matter what direction Penny is facing, you always have to move the analog stick left and right instead of pointing it in the direction you want Penny to go in. It takes a while to get used to, but still felt clunky to me by the time I reached the final stage. And of course, like any game released in 2024, it has bugs. Not too many though, not too many. From flying infinitely in the air to stumbling around on objects you aren't supposed to stand on, this game isn't 100% optimized. However, same with every other platformer released in the 2000s, which is exactly the vibe I was getting from this game. Plus, some of the glitches are pretty funny, I can't lie. Overall though, I am absolutely in love with this game and I had a blast playing through it. So far, this is definitely one of my favorite releases of 2024, and it is definitely easy for me to recommend to anybody out there, especially for $30. What? And I think it was on sale before recording this video. And it's a must play for all my platformer fans out there, man. Especially if you just want a game to knock your shoes off and just chill out, turn your brain off and have a good time. And for the humor. I can't wait to see what Evening Star is working on next, man. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends, family, and relatives. This really does help the channel grow. What do you guys think about Penny's Big Breakaway? You thinking about playing it? Is it your vibe? Not so much? Leave a comment down below. Let's have a discussion. If you want to check out more vids where I talk about games in this style, click on this card or that card. But in the meantime, it's been WaavvyyD and I'm gonna catch you later. Peace.